Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Brimlow, and in this video I'm going to talk to you and show you how to solve and graph inequalities. So if you could turn to page 10 in your packet, it looks like this. And we're going to go ahead and practice solving and graphing inequalities together. So we've already done a little bit of this in the previous video in talking about the golden rule. So we're going to just do a few more practice problems on this page and the following page, so that you have a variety of examples as you go to practice and for review, since we haven't seen equations in a while. So once again, this is page 10 in your packet, and we're going to just do a few problems. So I really like these notes because it gives you an example showing you how to show your work on both sides of the inequality, which is expected, and showing you how to graph your solution. So you already have an example here if you get stuck. But let's actually go through the process and do this together. So we're going to do number 3 together on this page, and we're going to do number 7 on this page, and then we'll probably do one more on the other page. So in an equation or inequality, it's going to be the same steps to solve. So your ultimate goal is to get your variable by itself. So in all of most of these are 2 steps. Number 4 and 5 are 1 steps, but the rest are 2 steps. So I'm going to start by boxing my variable term. That is a tip that I gave you guys before. You can use it or don't, but it shows me what I need to isolate or get by itself. So now I see the constant I need to remove. In order to remove it, I have to do the opposite. So if I am adding 1, I'm going to do the opposite by subtracting it. And what I do to one side, I need to do to the other. Okay. So when I do that, 1 minus 1 is 0, leaving me with x over 4, and I'm just going to bring down my inequality symbol. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So my second step to get rid of x, so what I see is x divided by 4. I need to do the opposite, which means I'm going to multiply by 4 on both sides. Now when I do that, these 4's cancel out because we're doing the opposite. I'm just going to bring my answer over here. Now, this is a situation where I have a negative on this side, but I'm multiplying by a positive number. Therefore, the golden rule does not apply. If this 4 was negative, then it would. But because it's not, our inequality symbol is going to stay the same. And when I do that, I get x is less than or equal to negative 4. So once again, this is a case where the golden rule does not apply because our coefficient that we multiplied by was not negative, okay? So now I go and graph it. So I'm going to automatically put a circle on negative 4. I know it has to be closed because it's less than or equal to, meaning negative 4 is included. And because it's less than, it's going to be going to the left, including numbers that are smaller than negative 4. And I also know that this is in the correct order of variable, inequality symbol, and number. So this is facing the direction my arrow should be. Okay. All right, we're going to try one more on this page, and then we're going to try 1 or 2 on another page. So once again, you have a variety of examples. So my goal is to get x by itself. This is another 2-step. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2 on both sides. So negative 3x is less than 18. Now I need to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. Okay. Now this is an example where you would flip, because now I'm dividing, sorry, I wrote this really fuzzy. Because I'm dividing by a negative, because my coefficient is negative, this is where I would flip, okay? So notice in this example, the coefficient was positive and this constant was negative, whereas here I have a negative coefficient. So I'm going to flip my symbol. 8 divided by negative 3 is negative 6. So on my number line, I find negative 6 and draw a circle. I know it's open and it's going to stay that way because it's just greater than. And because it's greater than, I want values to the right. Okay. So it's again, same process as solving an equation, except we have an inequality and we have the golden rule we have to be mindful of. Okay. Now, I think this next page is 10 in your packet, but I'm not 100% sure. Or sorry, 11 in your packet. It looks like this. So if you could turn to that page, a couple things I want to do here. Number one, we're going to cross out a few problems, starting with 5, okay, and 8. Every other problem on here you should be able to solve. So we are going to do one problem together, number 2. Number 1, you're just using the distributive property first, which you guys should be able to do. So I'm going to skip that one. Once again, distributive is when you multiply the outside term with everything inside. So this would look like 12x minus 10 less than 14. And then you'd finish solving from there, okay? So let's talk about this next one. So my goal is to get x by itself. However, the problem is that it's written all together as a fraction over 7. So this is one of those rare occasions when you don't actually start with your constant, sorry, I couldn't think of the word, and you have to start with the denominator. So to do that, I do the opposite, and I start by multiplying by 7 on both sides. So over here, they cancel out because that's what I want to happen. I don't want the 7 anymore. So I'm just left with whatever's in my numerator, and what I do to one side, I have to do to the other to keep it balanced. Okay. Now I have a 2-step, so box my variable term. I'm going to add 8 to both sides, so I get 3x is greater than 15. I'm just going to bring that step up over here because I don't have a lot of space. So 3x greater than 15. My last step is to divide by 3, and I find that x is greater than 5. So it's an open circle on 5, and I need numbers greater than that, so I'm going to point my arrow to the right. Okay. So when you encounter problems like this where everything is above your denominator, including your variable and constant, you want to start by getting rid of that denominator, and by doing that you multiply. Okay. So you are going to practice these sheets in your packet, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.